If somebody gave me this podcast, Mr. Vance, I would eat it. It's these cards and it's these podcasts and the movies and the pop songs. They're all to blame for the lies and heartache. Everything. We're responsible. I'm responsible. I think we do a bad thing here. 500 Days of Summer coming up next.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevene. Hey all, Tim here. We have an excellent episode in store for you all today. We did have some technical issues converting our guests' audio over after we finished recording. There will be some staticky moments, but it doesn't take away from the excellent conversation we had with Abbie. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time, and today that person is myself. But I'm not going to talk to Tommy right away because we have a very special guest with us, Abbie from the Sidetracked podcast. Abbie, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And Sidetracked is a podcast about motion picture soundtracks and label compilations that introduced her and her co-host Jon to the music that they love. Abbie, tell us a little bit about your show.
Thank you. Yeah, you do a great job introing it. But we're a podcast that examines not only like our love of music and movies, but how soundtracks helped us discover some of our favorite bands in a pre-digital era. So, back in the 90s when we were going, soundtracks were like a quick, easy, cheap way to find new bands, and the majority of the soundtracks we cover introduced us to like our very favorite bands. So that's where we started. That's where we're going, and I'm so excited. Right now we're covering a lot of 90s movies, but we're kind of going between the 80s and 2000s, and the world is full of possibilities. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great. Yeah, because like some of my favorite bands I discovered through like movies and stuff like that, like Adventureland. That's how I discovered the Replacements, and they're my favorite band ever. So movies are really just the best way to find music, I feel like sometimes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this movie is no different. This is 500 Days of Summer.
Things were going so well.
Just because some cute girl has the same bizarre crap you do, that doesn't mean you're bizarre.
What happened if you fall in love? What? Love is not Santa Claus.
All we do is argue.
But get over it. I don't want to get over it. I want to get it back.
500 Days of Summer, rated PG-13. Now playing in select theaters.
From the director of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes an experimental film. It's part She and Him, part Don John, and part romantic comedy. It gives you 500 Days of Summer, the romantic comedy that made the early 2010s all about hipsters. So this is my first time watching this movie. We were talking with Abbie before, and she was saying that this is a movie that she's seen countless times. Abbie, is this one of your favorites, especially in like the romantic comedy genre?
The funny thing is, when you even proposed us talking about this, I didn't even think about what huge movie it is, because I think like my late 20s, when I was living with my best friend, we actually like went to sleep every night watching the movie. So we would play this movie as we both fell asleep. On DVD, obviously. So we went through the full credits, full everything, and we would just sleep with it on all night. And then when I met my partner now, and like one of She and Him songs was like our wedding song.
Oh, that's great!
Wow.
And like when we met, it was right. So yeah, it's those movies where when I think about it, it's like, oh, it's a pretty big part of it. Like the first conversation I had with my partner was about this movie, because we met the year this came out. So I don't know, we were just that kind of hipster people. Show when we met out like smoking, and we were talking about this movie. It's so cliche that it kind of bothers me now, but it's very funny to think of like, oh yeah, this movie is a big deal in my life. So I'm super excited to be here, and I cannot wait to hear what you think of it, Tim.
So I really enjoyed it. Like romantic comedies are probably the genre of movie I'm the most cynical about personally, just because like there's so much just like failure to launch, How to Lose a Guy in
Yeah.
10 Days, just your typical like
Trash or whatever.
they have their moments, but you know, just their typical like this is a romantic comedy beat for beat for beat for beat. I like how this movie is really stylized and the way it's told in a non-sequential order and just kind of time hops around willy-nilly really effectively brings the point and the story home, because I think it's just a really effective way to twist a existing genre that you know probably wouldn't expect. Like I'll say this off the bat, like right at the beginning, one of the first shots of the movie is them on the bench on day 483 or whatever, and then from there I'm like, oh okay, so he ends up getting the girl, like that's what it's implying there, but he doesn't. Spoilers for like a 14-year-old movie, but
If you're listening, then you know. You should know.
yeah. So he doesn't get the girl, but I enjoyed the soundtrack for sure. I could definitely see this being a good movie to just kind of have on and just fall asleep to, because it's got that like
Zone
warm, peaceful feeling to it. I think it was a good blend. I think one of the staples where I think maybe they kind of like repurposed an existing script is this follows the very typical rom-com trope of having the friends, which is just his friends, and they're all just kind of like one note characters the entire time. But other than that, like I don't need them to be developed. It's not what the story's about, but it's really well paced. It's really well acted, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. So then from there, the soundtrack. So Tommy and Abbie, I know you're both big soundtrack people. Tell me, like, what are some of your favorite songs and your favorite moments from the movie regarding the soundtrack?
So it just talk about first of all how great the soundtrack is in itself. We have Regina Spektor on here, the Smiths. This is how I found out about the Smiths. We can talk about movies we discover, like bands we love. Hall Notes, obviously, that needle drop is just hilarious, and that's obviously a song that everyone now loves because of this movie. It was great before too, but the movie helped it.
Well, it brings it back. That's actually that's a bone I have to pick, because it was another one in Legally Blonde, which I really enjoyed. But like that pop and locket scene, I was like, not for me. I get what they were doing in it, but it's like, why is there so much synchronized dancing in romantic comedy?
Dance?
I don't
like the scene.
I don't dislike a synchronized dance, but I'm just like, well, why are they in all these movies? But I get it. It's a good way to symbolize having sex. But again, it's one of those little romantic comedy nitpicks I just have.
Abbie, did you like the scene of the Hall Note scene?
Oh my God, I loved it. I love it so much. And this is where I guess I'm also one of those people that I like deep diving into facts of all these movies. So I also that I used to fall asleep to the DVD, which meant we would also go to all the deleted scenes. And so I guess there is a deleted scene that's called like the morning after or the worst morning. And it is essentially the flip side of the Hall & Oates scene. Have either of you seen this, heard of this?
No,
I haven't. No.
I might have to watch it after this.
It's so good. And I forgot, I didn't get a chance to I didn't get to go back to my DVD and watch what song it is too. But essentially, it is just like, imagine Tom just being really sad and musically and choreographically sadness. So it's really good for the cartoon sad birds, and then everyone kind of thinks something catches on fire. Like, it's perfect. And for me, as like a huge fan of the movie, it only makes the Hall scene better because I know that there were two, and I wish that the other was kept in. But yeah, I love it. And I love the inclusion of that song. Plus, pardon?
Oh no, I was saying I love that scene too. It's just like we need that inverse of it, where the sad and happy. If it just like juxtaposed it right there, so just like immediately after we saw that, it'd be hilarious. And
I think it was the part it would have fit right in when he walks out of the store with the couple, right? And he's just like they're just walking by.
That is when it was.
Get a room.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
if it
wonder.
paid like Hall Notes, she's gone or
Yep.
something.
Well, I imagine it was a pacing issue.
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably didn't put all that work into that scene to then cut it. Now here's an interesting question after that. You have the Hall and Oates scene, right? What is the inverse if this movie was primarily focused on Summer? What song is being played for her after the first time they hook up?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's such a good song, or such a good question. Shit, probably. I feel like some kind of like 60s girl group, like the Crystals or
Yeah.
Ronette. It's like something like that.
Oh, definitely just like Motown, whatever, or something like that. Just like playing whatever. It's just a relaxing song. We're just like very chill. It's like, oh, that's fine. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely it. And I mean, you're backed up by an incredible soundtrack, but the kind of the crux of this movie, and I think one of the reasons why I think this movie has a lot of rewatchability to it is trying to figure out between Tom and Summer, like who's in the right and who's in the wrong. And I saw an interview with both Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zoe Deschanel, where she was like, I get women who come up to me all the time and say like, I hated your character in that movie. And I don't really get it. I mean, she's pretty upfront being like, I'm not looking for anything serious. And I kind of get where he's coming from. If you're with somebody for like 6 months, spending every day together, it's like you are a couple, right? But it's his like viewpoint on love that's completely different from hers, where she's just like, this is fun, where he's kind of like, you are the one, you're the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, which is kind of an intense, stark difference, which is probably the reason why the relationship failed. Because if he just took it very casual and breezy and wasn't trying to make it more than it was, maybe they would have stayed together. But that's just not who he is.
I think the problem was that he put her up on a pedestal, that he immediately was like, this person is perfect. She's like an angel, essentially, like nothing wrong with her. And he just kept on like having this expectation over and over again that like there's nothing wrong this person can do and we're in a great relationship. Whereas she from the front was like, hey, I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm just looking for something casual. And he just kind of flew over his head over and over again.
Well, I think one of the most stylized moments, and I have a clip here from Expectations versus Reality, and it's when he goes back to the party after they've broken up and he thinks it's going to be this entirely different thing, and it's not exactly what he thought it was going to be.
Hey, open wide your corners, original sin. Open wide your corners, original sin. Open wide your corners,
Nice.
original sin.
Your tie.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. No one's got it all.
I am.
No one's
So nice. Thank you.
You shouldn't have.
It's the
That's so nice. Thank you so much.
no problem.
I'm excited to read it.
So I think personally this is like the most this is like this realization, like the wake up moment for Tom. Abbie, when you first saw this movie and versus now, does this scene still hold the same kind of punch and like emotional impact and weight as it goes through all the different segments of him introducing his job, him thinking he's going to be flirting with her versus him just drinking a beer by himself casually on a rooftop, which is that gif that you'll see a million times on the internet? Is it still there on your 20th viewing?
Well, I haven't watched it. So last night's the first time I've watched it since we got married, which was it's been 10 years since I watched it. And
Oh, wow.
this scene is still like the exact same like, gut punch. Like it's just exactly like, who hasn't been in that situation where you have romanticized the hell out of something and you go and it's completely different. But I think like for me, what makes this when we're looking at like this as a rom-com, this scene is what makes this different from every other romantic comedy, because it's like no holds back, like no one's holding back on how shitty romance is. Like it is, romance is so exciting, it is the worst thing as well. Like falling in love is best and the worst. And Tom, this scene just shows us how hard it is for both of them, specifically from Tom's perspective, which is way harder in this moment.
Yeah, I think that the needle drop too in this, the Regina Spektor song, just like hits it home. Like we talked about the soundtrack earlier. This is just one of those moments that like you don't really see that many movies like use like a song, a needle drop that's just like, this is gonna be depressing. You're gonna cry your eyes out when you hear the song right now. So, because yeah, it's just intense.
Right. So Weber actually, he picked this song specifically for this scene, and then they built the scene around that song, because he said, how could we, or he said directorially, like, how can anyone put sound to visuals? Like, you need to put visuals with sound. And so Zoe and like, they were filming those scenes based on the beats of that song, and I can't even imagine how hard that would be to do twice so differently. But if you watch it simultaneously, well, I mean, if you watch it simultaneously but separately, so you can actually focus, like you'll notice that every single movement is on the same beat, and it's just those are, and that's what makes this different from 10 Guys, or not 10 Things I Hate About You. Sorry, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, right? Like, it's a great movie. I love that movie. But
Yeah,
this is what sets this apart and makes it like got that staying power, I think.
it helps that Mark Webb, his background was like a music video director, apparently. So, I mean, he's done videos for like My Chemical Romance, Santana, like Green Day, Maroon 5, and even Regina Spektor. He did one of her songs for the same album that this song was on. So obviously that's where he got the connection. And he obviously, you can see that this is where he got like, you know, all the scales for all the needle drops. And that's why like this movie's just chock full of great, like just song drops right there.
Right. Yeah, thank you. And so I called him Mark Webber. Anyway, thank you for.
It's fine. He
Yes,
he directed The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's fine if you get them mixed up. And it's funny in contrast, because we watched Forrest Gump last week. I haven't seen it in a couple of years. We were talking about needle drops last week on that podcast, where it was like some of them felt so predictable. Somebody we posted a clip from that episode where we said, oh, you know, we're sick of Fortunate Son. Does Creedence Clearwater Revival have a deal with every Hollywood studio? And somebody just comments being like, well, the song's about the jingoism and the business of the US. It's like, I understand what the song's about. I'm just saying it's in every single Vietnam movie. Like if there's a movie about the war in Vietnam, I'm expecting that song to be there. It'd be nice to maybe subvert my expectations a little bit.
So, I mean, what helps about this is that it feels more naturalistic compared to like Forrest Gump, which we covered last week, where that just felt forced, like you're saying. Whereas this feels like, you know, we're really listening to like what Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel's characters would be listening to, and they both have great taste in music, I consider.
100%. Yeah.
So one of the things I think aged poorly in this movie was Tom's take on Ringo Starr and nobody loving Ringo Starr. And I think the Peter Jackson documentary, the Beatles one that just came out last December, changed that stance for me completely. Did you watch that? Did you kind of be like, oh, Ringo's kind of the man?
I did. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. The girl that I used to play with always, George Harrison and Ringo Starr were her favorite. So I always thought that was like a shitty opinion from Tom anyway.
Yeah, I never got the full, I guess you just didn't have the solo career that Paul and George and John had. But yeah, like here, like nobody likes Ringo Starr. I'm like, if you watch a documentary of the behind the scenes of them, you'd be like, oh, Ringo's just like a sweet guy. He's happy to be there.
He's the underdog. He's the one that like almost doesn't belong because he knows that Pete Best was kicked out of the band. He's just waiting for the moment.
He's not ruffling any feathers. Yeah,
exactly. He's just like, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop right now. But that being said, Ringo has my favorite solo Beatles song of any of the Beatles. So I'll say that much. I'm a Ringo guy. All for him.
Oh, how summer is very, very summer scene of you. Yeah.
So you heard it here, folks. Haven't seen it in Sidetrack, officially Ringo Star podcast. Ringo, you're welcome to come on any of our shows at any time. I know you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Come on, Ringo.
We'd love to have you on.
Ringo stands for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of chemistry, I think both Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel, they have really good chemistry in this movie, and I think a lot of it is like physical. How do you guys think the chemistry was? Do you think it was like the right chemistry for this kind of relationship? Because it's different than normal rom-coms. It's usually like one person likes the other too much or whatever, or some circumstance or whatever. This is just a girl who casually says like, I'm not looking for anything serious. I think it's a little different than what you would normally get in terms of the initial prognosis of a relationship in a romantic comedy.
I completely agree. I completely agree that the chemistry is absolutely there, but it's different. Like we don't have the cute, like again, going back to like Kate Hudson, Matthew McConaughey, like we don't have this adorable meet cute that like ends up being this explosive, amazing thing, right? Like even when they go and they rent the porn for shower sex, like I mean, it's kind of awkward and it's kind of you don't know what either one of them is thinking at any given time, and it's so obvious. And so like the chemistry is a build up to exactly what we kind of knew from the very beginning was going to happen with the relationship, and I think it's perfect. And I think that Zooey Deschanel is like the perfect choice because we learned from the beginning that everyone loves her, but kind of for nothing that she ever intended them to love her for, right? Like she quotes Belle and Sebastian and then their album sales go up. But
yeah,
how would that ever make sense? Except that she's just innately cool and doesn't try. And then you have like Tom, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's just the cutest, sweetest, but clearly very clueless person. And I love them, but it's also like a heartbreaking chemistry to me.
It shows really well just like the difference between them, whereas like you could kind of tell in all the scenes that like Joseph Gordon-Levitt just has like puppy dog eyes on Zooey Deschanel, just like wanted to immediately just like, oh my god, you're amazing, I love you. Whereas she just like is kind of playing a little bit of act, a little bit detached, a little bit more. But you could see why they worked out at first and why they worked as friends, and then why they like whoever it was, they end up being together for a little bit. You could see a little bit to it.
Well, first of all, I would like to say this is the first movie to ever accurately depict shower sex. Definitely has that going for it.
So it's a realistic rom-com.
It's a realistic rom-com. And then too, I think you can definitely see like I think the best times to kind of examine the relationship. I pulled a clip from right at the beginning where it's where he says like, where she asks him, do you like me? This is just to give kind of like a little like just to like how they kind of play off each other.
He likes you.
Okay, good night, Mackenzie.
Likes you. Why don't you just tell her, Tom?
Yeah. Sorry, we never see that. It's happens every time we come here. I don't know, something about that guy and singing.
Is that true?
Yeah, he drinks and he sings and he just
No,
loses his shit.
Not Mackenzie. The other thing?
What thing?
Do you like me?
Yeah, of course I like you.
As friends?
Right, as friends.
Just as friends?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I hadn't really thought about, yes. Why?
No reason, I think you're interesting, and I'd like for us to be friends. Is that all right?
So I think this is just like a good example of like the playfulness and why you can definitely see them working as a couple. Because I think, especially my first time going through this movie, I'm like, he's probably going to get her at the end. And it's kind of, we mentioned before, it's foreshadowed in the beginning that he's going to get her. It's kind of like the nice hook at the beginning. You get to see that like you can see the tension. And I think what immediately the next scene is when she just walks up to him and kisses him in the copy room.
Yeah. The nonlinear storytelling device like really works in that well. It just goes to like one situation where it's just like them having a little meet cute and or them like talking about that, like kind of like flirting a little bit, and then immediately cut to that. So the editing just works really well in that sense.
And they go back and forth really well from when times are bad versus when times are good, kind of contrasting things like when one thing worked at the beginning and the other thing didn't work. I mean, I guess you could be, if I wanted to put my nitpick cap on, why are you going to IKEA 2 times in about 140 days or whatever? Probably a little too much IKEA for my liking.
Yeah, too much.
They're going for the meatballs, hot dogs. Isn't that, you guys have that in America?
Oh yeah, we
we
have
have
the meatballs.
all the good stuff.
Are you? Come on, the Americans are going to get the food, if anything. Come on.
Yeah. There's one thing we know: it's how to eat a lot of food. But Abbie, so what do you think about their chemistry in the movie?
I love them. I love them both, and I think, I mean, they're both artists. Like everything is just again to bring it back to music, right? Like I was saying that for both of the karaoke songs, like all of the karaoke songs were consulted with both Zoe Deschanel and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because they're both musicians, and I'm still like holding out for a Joseph Gordon-Levitt like solo, just rip. But like even there was a re-release, and him doing Pixie song was on that re-release of the soundtrack, and I've actually never checked it out, but I bet it's amazing, right? And I think like both of those characters like Webb made such a point of making music a big part for both of them, but it's not, it just never feels fake. It feels real. It feels like exactly who they actually be, and it's because it kind of is who they actually are. Like if I was ever going to envision a relationship between these two people, this is what it would be. It really makes me buy it.
Yeah. It's kind of similar. We covered High Fidelity a few months back on the pod, and it's almost like in some ways this movie's like High Fidelity if both the characters were equally the John Cusack character, just like huge music nerds, where it's just like they bounce off each other like back and forth. Whereas High Fidelity just has him bouncing off someone that's like, I don't really care about music that much.
Tom, his character's kind of interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Is he a quote unquote TM nice guy? You know, like the guys that think treating a woman, being nice to them, giving them things, kind of being this means that they deserve the other person's love because they do this thing. Because he does kind of come off a little bit that way. I don't think he's quite like a quote unquote nice guy where he's like going to be lashing and abusive. But I think he felt like since he was giving her all of his love and all of his energy, that she would reciprocate, and she never did. And I think it's kind of clearly shown that she never really viewed him that way.
This movie was written based on a relationship that the writers had, and sort of an amalgamation of different experiences. But specifically, I think it's Newstetter. He said that like this was based on his real relationship, where he felt the idea of a girl as opposed to like the girl herself. And like we have all been there as humans. You fall in love with the idea of someone, whether or not you're with that person or not. That is kind of Tom's fatal flaw that makes him, to me, not as nice a guy, especially, in my almost 40-year-old self now watching this, like rewatching. Tom isn't as sweet as I thought he was. Like, he's kind of a bit of a pain in the ass, and you should really listen to what Summer was saying in the beginning and then experience the relationship through that. But my 20-something self used to just like swoon over him, and I thought he was the greatest. And now, rewatching, I'm like, Tom, give her a break. God damn it. She told you.
It's one of those things that like people always feel like Summer's the villain because like this film like takes Tom's point of view, but like when you really get down to it, Tom at the end of the day just doesn't listen to anything she's saying. She tries to make it as clear as possible, but
nothing.
He just Yeah, but just like just doesn't care. He's like, oh, like you're perfect. You're gonna marry me or something like that. And the expectations during the reality scene, well, it's just really hammers that home. Where it's just like it's never gonna be what you want with Summer. Like you just move on, find someone else who's like actually wants to be committed to you because this person's not that person for you. So
I will say, because, and again, granted, we don't see every single moment, obviously, in the course of the relationship over the movie, just the snippets. If they're if they're hanging out and spending as much time together, and I guess probably working together in the same office would hinder that. If you're seeing a person every single day and you're talking to them when it's like a casual relationship, you're talking to each other every day, you're spending time out of the office every single day together, right? Like that line does become blurry, and I see that. But I think even him, when she said straight up to him, like, I'm not looking for a relationship, he was just like, yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna make, we'll it'll get there, like that was just his mindset. And his sister, who was played by Chloe Mertz Grace, she was excellent. She was excellent in that little sister role. I like how at the beginning when they show the breakup, she bikes over. I'm glad you called me. Like just like scattling over to go see him and kind of like try to snap some sense into him after Summer initially ends the relationship. It's interesting. I just think it's a good line and kind of feels very naturally human, where they're not just these characters don't really fit into just one box. They kind of are all over the scale, and they feel very human, especially in a movie genre category like rom-coms, where that's not always the case. It's a lot of times they're just very much like tropey one note characters.
Or this movie is like pretty much the like the opposite of like Serendipity, for example, where it's just like, that movie's all about finding the one, and I found this one person on a New York City sidewalk. Where this one's just like, the one doesn't really exist. It takes work to find the person, and it's not just gonna be this person that just drops into your life perfectly. And you can tell from the beginning, Tom almost immediately puts her on a pedestal and just is trying way too hard at the beginning, like where he's playing the Smith song at the desk so she can notice him and stuff like that. Where it's just like, okay, come on, relax here a little bit, Tom.
I am a star. I'm a star. I'm a star. I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
So I think this might actually be the most difficult one to answer that we've done so far, Tommy. Who is the star of the movie? If you had to only pick one, there's only two options in this movie specifically, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets more screen time as it's told from his perspective than Zooey Deschanel, but the two of them together are like symbiotic. They're both the leads of this movie.
I'd say based on like how their careers turned out, I'd say Zooey Deschanel. I mean, if this movie didn't come out, we wouldn't have had New Girl. She really just like became a sitcom star after this. And she just like brings out the persona that everyone's like, oh, that cool girl that like everyone wants to know and stuff like that. So I'd say Zooey. That's my pick.
I mean, I would have to agree. Although like, I've loved Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like Girl from the Sun. So I have everything he's ever been in. Him so much. That being said, by the end of this movie, I think Zooey Deschanel is for sure the standout, and not only as an actress but as like character as well. Because in the end, with that beautiful wrap up where you had the expectation versus reality, we've gone through all the emotions of whether or not she should have told him this or he should have listened or whatever. But Tom says, I was wrong, never believe in true love, or true love doesn't exist. And she says, it's one of the very final scenes, and she says, true love exists. It just didn't exist with me. It didn't exist with me. And she kind of wraps up the movie so nicely. So it's one of those, not only is she like the standout star, but I feel like that kind of non-vilifies her. She kind of is able to just redeem any quality, or redeem herself throughout whatever emotions you may have been feeling for her as the character.
I think it's interesting. I want to say that I think Zooey Deschanel gives the better performance in this movie, but I think it's also important to mention that Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I feel like this movie made him A-list, because then what he did a bunch of other things. Like he ended up being in one of the Nolan Batman movies as like Robin, and almost staged to be like the next predecessor if they kept that specific segment of Batman franchise going along. Like he also exploded off of this too, and both of their career arcs kind of went like she went TV, he went more movies. And then I feel like Joseph Gordon-Levitt went away a little bit, where I feel like Zooey Deschanel's kind of stayed more relevant and stayed more in the pop culture osmosis, like at the forefront of things.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt now seems more of like a social media personality, where he has a like hit record thing and stuff like that. Where it's not really like TV, but it's like his own version of YouTube. Essentially, I don't even know what hit record is. I just always seen posting about it.
It's like entrepreneur. It's him trying to be more entrepreneurial.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, have either of you seen Mr. Corman, his show on Apple?
No, that's new, right?
I haven't watched it yet.
It's really good, and I feel like this movie it like propelled him to more like artsy, as you said. Like Zooey Deschanel went a little bit more mainstream, whereas this was his opportunity to explore. Like, I know that he is a trained musician. He's always been interested in choreography and dance, and like Mr. Corman really take a Hall & Oates scene and put it on like massive amounts of drugs, and that's what that show is. It's really cool. It's really good, and yeah, this was sort of like that beginning of where his career was going.
Nice. I'll have to check it out. Sounds awesome.
It's on my never-ending television watch list, which I just feels like every time somebody gives me a suggestion, it just grows and grows and grows.
Yeah, we're never gonna finish our bucket list of shows to watch.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
So Abbie, I'm gonna open this question up directly to you. I don't know how familiar you are with the Muppets, but Tommy and I are huge Muppets fans. Would this movie work as a Muppet adaptation? Could you see them being able to pull this off with the puppetry and the characters from the Muppets kind of being inserted?
100%. Like, there is no doubt in my mind. Like, Zooey Deschanel is a Muppet. This is perfect. This movie would be great.
What I'd love to see in particular would be a Muppet adaptation where it's just like most of the movie is exactly the same, except the expectation versus reality scene is different. Whereas expectation is that everyone's gonna be Muppets and just all puppet around, and then it cuts to the reality where everyone's like real people, and he's just so depressed. He's like, "Oh, there's fucking Muppets here instead."
Tommy, I'm pretty sure that's just like you and I every time we watch a movie. The expectation is like there's just gonna be Muppets in this, right?
Yeah, like come on, where's the puppets in this?
And then the reality is it's never there. It's never quite there. I think this would work. It's playful enough. I think the dance scene in particular would be an excellent, with like the Muppets just kind of like all bopping around with like Joseph Gordon-Levitt dancing with them. I think that would be fun. He seems like he would have been tailor-made to like be a guest host on the Muppet Show if he was alive when that was a thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. He would be great. Great for that.
Actually, both of them would have, if they ever brought it back. They both like end up being guest hosts on the Muppet Show. Yeah, I think it would work. But for now, it's time to do our reviews. Abbie, we'll kick it off to you. Give us your final thoughts on the movie, your score.
The movie still holds. I still love it. I love the Smiths just as much as I did the first time I watched this. But I'd say if you were gonna ask me way back when this came out, this was for sure a 5 out of 5 for me. Now I think like with some more age and wisdom, I'm gonna go with like a 4 out of 5. But I really do love it.
Tommy?
Yeah. So this is my first time really like paying attention to the movie. This is like my third watch, but this is the first time I actually sat down and sat with it and just like watched it fully. I think it's a great like anti-rom-com where it's essentially a breakup movie more than anything. And it just really gets the perspective of just like, hitting that point where it's just like you realize during the process of your breakup grieving that you're like, okay, you're just like rose-colored, rose-tinted glasses. You're just thinking of all the great things. I love the chemistry between Zooey and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and the soundtrack's awesome. I'm gonna give this 4.5 out of 5. So it was a really fun watch.
So I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I just kind of have a different scale for movies, and in terms of rom-coms, I think 4 out of 4 is probably the high. 4 out of 5 is probably the highest I'll go. This is an excellent rom-com.
Genre bias.
It's genre bias. Listen, it's my podcast, all right. I'm allowed to be biased on here. Gosh dang it. It's really well stylized. It's really well acted. It's really well paced. It's a nice brisk 90 minutes, which I think Tommy and I will both. I'm sure Abbie, you're similar. We miss 90-minute movies. I'm sick of every new release having to be 2.5 hours long. Just give me something nice and trim.
I like big movies. David Lynch is like my favorite director, so don't even ask me. I have very unpopular opinions.
I'm a big David Lynch fan.
We're gonna cover Mulholland Drive, and that's one of those movies that, like, to me, whenever he tries to get me to watch it, I'm just like, I don't want to watch David Lynch right now. At this point, it's just become more of just like me trying to troll him, where I'm just like, fuck your Mulholland Drive. It's very long.
No, yeah, I'm the David Lynch fan out of the two of us here. Tommy is the slasher horror fan. So I feel like you either go one or two ways. You like,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I go for the.
Oh, I'm right in the middle. I'll join you both for all of those. Or we don't even have to record it. Just talk about them. All the movies.
Yeah. Just every single horror movie. So October's gonna be packed. I can't wait. So because keep on telling Timmy, just like bounce off ideas from, like, okay, which ones have you seen? Which ones have you seen?
And I'm like none of them. Pick your lit. Pick your lit of the biggest 4 horror movies of all time, and we can watch them outside of like The Shining. Just pick them.
Hey, oh my gosh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So, Abbie, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining us. Where can we find your podcast and you on social media?
Thank you so much for having me. Well, we're Sidetracked with Abbie, Abbie, and Jon, Jon, on Instagram, and you can find us on any other streaming platforms. That's Sidetracked.
And Tommy, just to follow it up, where can the people find us if they're looking for more?
Yeah, so we're on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at SeenItPod. You can leave us a 5-star review and leave Sidetracked also a 5-star review. It really helps out both pods on wherever you get your podcast. So thanks, guys, for listening.
Thank you all so much for listening. This was a lot of fun. We look forward to seeing you next week.